1998 Subaru Forester. For a male, driving a Forester is a way of forever throwing yourself at the feet of every NPR reporter and begging for forgiveness on behalf of your gender.
Asking for forgiveness from NPR on behalf of men. Promising I don't post on the red pill is fine, but what then?
The world today of 2014 is obese with crossover vehicles, not station wagons, for the same reason that your supermarket sells sustainable organic produce, not fresh fruit. We have a fetish for naming things in a way that will put us on the populist side of the argument. Station wagon is a dirty word, just like a name for a 12-passenger school bus. The word crossover appeared in the early 2000s after Junkie XL took a fun Elvis ditty and turned it into a backing track for a yoga studio. Endless remixing has turned the modern Forester into a lumpy sweater Nissan Murano woodwind section leader pledge week letter to the editor assistant JV cheerleading coach mom. But this is a 1998 Forester, and yeah, all the 90s when you listened to Dave Matthews Band or you drove in silence. In 1998, the first generation Subaru Forester had only one engine choice if you lived in the United States. Yeah, we only got one engine because this was the very first year we got the Forester. So the engine us Americans got was the, it's good, I guess, put $1,000 in the bank when you have to replace the head gaskets, 2.5 liter, 165 horsepower flat 4. But the first year was a double cam, but after that, the first generation Forester went back to single cam because US audiences aren't into complexity. Subaru of North America is the king of doing everything half right, because that way you're only half wrong. And come on, eat a dick, you marketing middle management pencil sucking, oh, better choke up on the bat and get on base, naturally aspirated ICE engine, nothing too challenging. But this Forester is different. It's not powered by the original engine. This is the EJ20. Now, the EJ20 is a preamble to car meet fibbing. It's the parking lot equivalent of the fish was this big talk that you can hear at the local fire hall. I poop. EJ20 is a designation that polishes ambition and comforts vanity. But the truth is, EJ20 doesn't refer to just one type of engine. EJ20, if you see that, it doesn't mean the STI engine. Not necessarily. EJ20 is just a name for a range of engines made for Subaru. Yes, there was the EJ20 that came in Japan, but there's also the EJ20E, which is a single cam and it doesn't have a turbo. There's the EJ20D, which is double cam and no turbo. This EJ20 is from a donor car, a 2002 WRX 2.0 turbo. Is it STI or isn't it STI? Well, you guys can fight that out among yourselves. The transmission and driveline were also replaced on this Forester from the donor 02 WRX. The owner also swapped out the subframes front and rear. The steering wheel, column, and emergency brake handle and carpet were also from the WRX. But the seats are from a 2005 WRX wagon. The wiring harness was merged by iWire, so this Forester can run using the original donor car's ECU. This is important because the myth of Subarus is that the engines swap from one car to another in a plug-and-play like manner like one would swap hard drives. Nope. Subarus don't do that. There is no popping one engine out of one car and popping a different engine from a different style of car into a different Subaru. Yes, they do swap easier than other cars, but the wiring harnesses are different for each different type of car. You have to splice, and then you have to test, and then you have to tune. This Forester also has the JDM Forester grille and Japanese domestic market dealer option rear finish panel, because everything from Japan is better vending machine beer. Well, one of the things he did do that I really liked is that he did no deletes. Everything in this car works. It still has cruise control and the AC compressor pump still works. But the shape. The first generation Subaru Forester is the Velvet Underground and Nico Peel Slowly and See album, a curious alteration of an existing known rock and roll station station wagon. But the Velvet Forester's first incarnation shines bright because it invented the horrible crossover wine rock, a little bit of everything and a whole lot of nothing, pretend like it's white light, white heat, lumpy, white as Mugo, and one fart bus Forester that we have today. The Subaru Forester is a taller station wagon, not quite SUV, that was the first crossover in 1998. But the Subaru Forester, as good as it was, is to blame for today's bland buffet car crossover offerings. If the Subaru Forester was a person, it would wear Birkenstocks and bitch about how Frozen wasn't as good as everybody says it was. The Forester is to the crossover community as No Doubt was to ska music and top 40 radio. It started a trend, but it also ruined it for everybody else in the process. This car is as damaging to the concept of crossovers as OkCupid profile questions are creepy and invasive. No, I have not tasted my own sexual fluids, and no, I do not have rape fantasies, and if my partner is sexually interested in children, you bet your sweet succulent ass that's a deal breaker, because I can't imagine what other possible reason the term deal breaker would have been invented than to describe that exact scenario. The Subaru Forester is a low-maintenance car for the man who loves no-maintenance sex. Art majors are the best for this exact reason. No need to go out to dinner after we've bunged. We can just order Chinese and write poetry to the rhythms of our colonic distress. Ken Burns' Prohibition is on PBS, and it's the soundtrack for round 2. The Subaru Forester is a car that confuses compromise with enthusiasm. It's like watching a Let's Play marathon of Superman 64 that pretends it's high art. Nobody chooses a Forester if they have another option, but in the compact crossover market, there haven't always been affordable alternatives. Sometimes this is just what you have to go with when you need a daily driver that's somewhere on the general spectrum as the CR-V and the RAV4, but like a little bit less than that. But that's why this STI swap, is it an STI? Into a Forester makes perfect sense. See, the thing about STIs is that you're always arguing whether it is or isn't one, and some people who have STIs, there'll be other people who get out fact sheets and say, no, this really isn't an STI, it just has this, and then there are people who clone STIs out of RSs, but that's a whole nother rant. But the reason this engine swap is so perfect is because the Subaru Forester is a forgettable car. It's a staple of yard sale dads who write the words "like new" in quotation marks on the inside cardboard cut out from a box of store brand shredded wheat and tape it with electrician's tape to a Hitachi chop saw that has seen better days and been the star of many plays. But like an early experimental album, I'm still happy that there's first-gen Subaru Foresters out there, because we can all put on that one track and drive these cars and still dream about all tomorrow's parties.
It's kind of funny you asked, since it's a swap car, how's it run or whatever, and I should have just told you, what's my daily, so, because it drives like it came from the factory this way. That's one reason I love it.
Oh, I want the exhaust gases all doing work for me.
So it has that giant 4-inch downpipe, and that's why you can hear the turbo so loud.
You are a Forester to me. Can you see? This Subaru is spacious. It gets good and peachy. You're not impossible to me. This car's okay from 98. STI hedged its bets on RX. JDM. I'm all-wheel drive and super cheap. I am a Forester with cargo room for sex and sleep. I am a Forester.